What's up, troopers? My name is Neon and welcome to a brand new video. This is Combat Champions. This is a brand new game. It's in alpha stage right now, but just look at this. We got assault right here. You got like the sniper class. What does this remind you of, troopers? Yeah, it reminds you of like the Battlefield classes, doesn't it? This one here, you got this class for assault. You got the health kit. You got the shotgun guy. He has the ammo crate. This one's interesting. Jetpack. This class has a spawn beacon. But yeah, troopers, let me tell you about this game. So before we get into the video, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, please do. I would really appreciate it, and of course leave a like. Thank you very much. So this game is actually made by 25 people. That's kind of crazy, you think about it. Just looking at some of the gameplay, of course you can't look at everything and think, oh yeah, everything's amazing, because this is an alpha, so you're gonna see a little bit of bugs here and there. But 25 people making a game like this is kind of impressive. Most of these people who made this game are actually former DICE devs. A lot of them worked on Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3. This game is the support from the Epic Games, and it has the Unreal Engine 5. As I said though, this was just early access. I saw the video from Jack Frags actually talking about this game, and he was talking about the playtest, so I went and gave it a go over the weekend. It wasn't like a full open playtest. Of course you can go and register and ask if you want to be a part of it, and they will send you an email if you got in or not. And I lucky enough got myself in, and at the launch it started with like the Australian servers, so I was kind of messing about with my settings, and then it went to EU lobbies, so I waited until the North American lobbies came out, and once it did, I streamed it. But this game, it definitely gives me that Battlefield feel, like when I'm actually playing like the normal multiplayer of the Conquest style, where it's really interesting. It gives me that Battlefield feeling. Once you're playing the game, it usually goes on for about 10 minutes, and then you go into your mid round, and it could be kind of like a custom mode. So usually one of them was like a one shot in the chamber where you only have one bullet, and everyone is the same with their pistol, and you got to try to eliminate the enemy team. Then after that is done, it goes back into the regular Conquest side. I guess they switch sides, and then it continues. So usually the games go on for about 25 minutes, but personally for me, I feel like it's a bit too short. Having 10 minutes of first half, and then you have the 5-minute rounds. I think the middle rounds is absolutely fine, but then having them 10-minute rounds, it's just not long enough for me, honestly. A lot of people did say this game reminds them of the finals, and I totally can see that because of the arena type of stuff, and they try to make it arcadey, and it has the AI commentators, and they honestly sound pretty similar to the finals. But so far, I've been pretty impressed. Of course, there has been bugs here and there, so I'm doing the best I can do to send my feedback. I've been enjoying playing with the classes. It feels like the classes don't have like a massive role when it comes to this game. It's very simple based. There's no specialist, nothing like that. It's just the typical assault route. So the only thing you can really do is just revive your teammates and heal your teammates by dropping a health box. I feel like the recon side is kind of useless because you got this spotting goggles, but then that's no point because you could just sit there with a sniper scope and still spot people. So I feel like once they kind of tweak around and figure out what they really want to do with the classes, I think it's going to make the gameplay play so much better. The maps are absolutely beautiful. I love the way how it is designed. Does it play well when it actually comes to the multiplayer experience? Not really. Some of them are a bit too big, but then there's been some maps where they've been way more smaller and they play really well. And when I play them, I'm just like, wow, you know, this is giving me that full-on Battlefield vibe. But the problem is I only feel like it's just one or two maps what gives me that feeling. It's just because it's more consistent. I feel like some of the other maps, they are absolutely ginormous, that you're just kind of bouncing yourself around to location and maybe having one or two gunfights here and there. So the whole playstyle of this game completely changes when it comes to the scale of the maps. But what makes it very interesting though is the way how these maps are designed. They really added a big variety of the way you can play. They have these giant crossbows so you can launch yourself across the map. They have like bounce pads. So there's multiple ways you can get on the levels of different areas of the map. The parachute has a very long glide, so you can even glide yourself even further. There was one thing I did notice, and I thought it was very interesting, is a revive mechanic. I've never seen it before, and it definitely made sense, and it was pretty cool, honestly. So basically what it was is when you went down, you would be on your down stage. It was very similar to like Battlefield stage when it comes to being down, and that could be holding on until someone revives you or just bleed out. And of course you can hold on, but the bar of you bleeding out will decide of how long it's going to take for that revive. So if someone just took you out and your teammate comes along, he can revive you in just a split second. But if you've been down for at least 5 seconds, it's going to take them at least 5 seconds to revive you. I thought to myself, okay, well what happens if you was down for like nearly 20 seconds? Is that how long it's going to take? Because people would just annoy you. Well, that isn't the case. They have, of course, a standard limit of a revive counter. I think it's like 4 seconds, something like that for a full revive. But it's pretty cool though that they have like a bar limit, so not all the time you're reviving your teammates is going to take like 4 seconds to do it. Sometimes it can take a split second. What I think is really cool, because there's been times I saw my teammate went down and I'm like, I got you, trooper. I picked him up and he was back into it in seconds. So I really loved how they had that revive mechanic. Maybe other games should do something similar. When it comes to the weapons and the attachments, there wasn't a big variety, especially when it comes to the attachments. There's not a lot you could have actually done. All the attachments, they were all locked, and they just said it was in work in progress. Totally makes sense. It's an alpha. So once the beta comes along, we'll have a better experience. But there was a very large variety of weapons. Not all the weapons were completed. Some of them had that old school Doom reload animation. It's reloading by frames, what I thought was kind of cool. And some of them didn't even have their textures. And honestly, this game and the alpha, what just came out, is the first time they fully had textures. Because previously, before, there wasn't that much around. It was just kind of like the old school black and white type of stuff. And this is the first time they added controller support as well, and that was what I was playing. I felt like as a controller guy, I thought that would be a good time to use my controller and try to help out the devs and give some feedback. And I tell you what, they definitely needed some feedback on the controller side, that's for sure. There was a big issue. I don't know exactly what the issue was lying on. I don't know if it was because of the aim assist, because every time I disabled it, I wasn't really getting the issue. So I don't know exactly what was the problem, but there was clearly some sort of issue when it comes to aiming. The problem, what was going on, was I was aiming on a target and it would basically just freeze. It didn't even matter if I was aiming left and right. There was nothing I could do. It would just kind of stay off the target, but it wouldn't even let me do anything. I couldn't even move with my stick at all. It just froze basically. Really weird, and I totally get it because they just added like the controller support. Of course I was going to be experiencing some issues, like even some of the keybinds. I had to change my keybind down to the thumbstick so I can crouch, and they didn't have all the full keybinds, so I had melee and crouch at the same time. So this entire time I was playing, I couldn't even slide or do anything like that, because every time I did it, I just meleeed at the same time. So I had to go back and change it to the button layout. Oh dude, it was a complete mess and a nightmare trying to use the controller. I'm not gonna lie, it was. And I really hope that the devs are listening to this, please work on the controller side, okay? All right, I was probably the only controller guy who was playing the beta. I know sooner or later there's obviously going to be more controller players, so help us out, okay? I gave you guys a bunch of feedback, so hopefully that can actually help you improve it. But so far, troopers, I've been really enjoying it. I don't really know how far this game would succeed. Of course, it's a very small game. I don't know if they're going to have big promotions for it. I didn't really hear anything about this until just a couple of weeks ago. But so far, I've definitely been enjoying it. But yeah, troopers, you guys gotta let me know, what do you think about this? Do you think this is something you maybe want to give a go down the line? Well, if it does interest you, then I will let you guys know when the beta does come out. Because I tell you what, I did have a lot of fun when it comes to this alpha, and I really do want to try out the beta too. So we'll see how long it takes, and I'm very interested to see how far they become. Anyway, troopers, thank you very much for listening to me talk. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, be a part of the Pink Wig Army, and I'll see you on the battlefield.